Hi, fourth graders. I'm here to introduce the new unit that we are going to start today, and we are going to switch over to social studies. But first, a little history joke for you. Why is England the wettest country? Because the Queen reigned there for many, many years. Okay, so just thought I'd start with a little joke, lighten things up. So today we're going to be talking about primary and secondary sources. You might know what these are already because we already learned about them, but I thought this would be fun because we right now are living inside a historical event. So we're going to use a different historical event to talk about primary and secondary sources, play a game, and then we are going to become the primary source. We are going to write something that is a primary source about today and our lives and the quarantine, the situation we're living in right now. So, first and foremost, we're going to talk about a historical event. So, I'm going to need you to use your imagination, and I wrote this in the journal, but I'd like to just paint a picture for you. So, a man comes walking up to you, and he's kind of looks rough. His clothes don't look very familiar. He's been wandering around the Texas desert, and he says that he is one of the few people to survive a massacre that occurred in the spring of 1836. So we took him to a doctor, and we find out that he's at least 150 years old. So, how could we go about discovering if what he says is true about being a survivor of something that happened in 1836? Well, I'm going to need you to suspend reality because obviously someone can't live for 150 years, so that's why I said imagine. So just imagine that this man comes up to you. He says, I'm one of the only people to survive this huge massacre. And we know what a massacre is because of the Boston Massacre. That's when a lot of people die. So how can we find out if he's telling the truth? Well, today the first thing you're going to do is you're going to brainstorm different ways that we could find it out. So literally just think of all of the different ways that you could check to see if he's telling the truth. How can we find out if there was actually a massacre at this time in Texas? So without Googling, just thinking, brainstorm the different ways that we can find out. I included a couple of examples in your journal already. So without further ado, go ahead and brainstorm the different ways. And then I want you to take it one step further, and I want you to highlight all of the ways that you brainstorm that you could learn about this massacre that happened. And I want you to highlight them only if you think that they existed in 1836. So if it involves a computer, no, it did not exist in 1836. So you would not highlight that. So brainstorm the ways that you can find out if he's telling the truth. Highlight the ones that existed in 1836. And then we'll pick back up tomorrow for our next activity about primary and secondary sources. Until then.